Welcome to the Contractors Innovation Podcast. It's cold in Godridge, Ontario. We're broadcasting from Footprint Engineering offices. And Dante is our producer, participates nicely. Oh, he has great questions. And we have my friend Brian Couto, who many people may know is an accomplished comedian, a laborer. The laborer scene is kind of slow right now, Brian, eh?
Well, it's that time of year. Hey, hi everybody. Hi guys. Yeah, it is. It is that time of year. It's kind of slow right now. This year in particular seems to be extra slow. It got a little slower than we anticipated. I guess with all the politics and the tariffs and the whatever else, different uncertainties. A lot of projects are not going forward. Like usually we have a whole new bunch of new builds and some guys get to work over the winter and stuff. But for this year, a lot of projects that should have been on aren't. And I don't know if it's because of the prices or the economy or just the whole combination of the whole climate. You know what I mean?
So please press like and subscribe. Brian, don't forget to press subscribe. I know, when you have time, when you're at home and you're
Yes,
listening.
sir.
Because I'd like you on more podcasts. Brian and I started out as a laugh and learn concept. Brian had got waylaid a bit, but he's back in the seat. And Brian, I appreciate you participating and always you're with your jokes. Tell us where you're doing the comedy clubs right now.
So I'm at Backroom Comedy Club down on Bloor in Toronto, 814 Bloor Street in the lower level of Christie Pitt's restaurant. I'm there twice a week. I'm there on Wednesdays and on Fridays we have 6 o'clock dojo open mic shows. So I usually host or I'm usually a closer. So I spend a lot of time at Backroom. And then we're actually going to have a special show February 21st at Backroom Comedy Club. We're getting a bunch of our, there's a group, we have a freedom group. And we can talk about that later on. But basically, it's just people who are, we're people who just are like-minded and just, there's alternatives to what we're given, you know what I mean? And so they're just a cool group. But anyways, February 21st,
I think they call it
Saturday. I'm going to do a show.
They call it freedom
as
groups,
well.
Don't they? Freedom groups.
Yeah. But, so I mean, they're not. They don't. I couldn't. We shouldn't call them conspiracy theorists because most of the conspiracies that I've heard 3 years ago are now truths. So I mean, I don't want to label anybody, but but yeah, it's just it's a fun group, and so we do like a special comedy show for them so that we can have I could gear the comedy towards the audience a bit too, right? Because you could be a great chef, but if you're not cooking the right food for your audience, they're not going to enjoy the food as much. You know what I mean? Like imagine giving a guy a peanut sandwich and he's allergic to peanuts, right? You're going to kill the guy. It was a great peanut sandwich, right? See?
Hey, what's the good vaccine joke? Everyone's either pro or con on vaccines. Do you have any vaccine jokes for your freedom?
I don't really have a vaccine joke, but if you check out Mike Rita, he did a special at Yuck Yucks. I was actually there for the taping, and he talks about when we get older, our grandkids are going to read in the history books that we went through. We had a COVID, a pandemic, and all this stuff. And so he has this really, really funny set. You should check it out. It's Mike Rita at Yuck Yucks in Toronto. And I'll send it to you guys. It's so funny.
Send me YouTube. That would be good. I have to say, for the benefit of vaxxed and unvaxxed people, the number one product is called Masterpiece. And it'll actually remove that stuff from your system. I tell a lot of people about it, but it's hard to convert people.
Well, and that's the thing, we're very manipulated by, like, okay, here's the thing. I have a construction background, but I went to college. Yeah, they accepted me. I went to college for marketing, right? And so very first thing, first year marketing, you learn a lot of the reasons why commercials are a certain way, televisions are a certain way, you know what I mean? The reason why, you know, things are made a certain way is to engage the person watching it so that they can influence their buying and everything else. They're right. So we're bombarded nowadays, especially. We're bombarded so much different media that sometimes people are just overwhelmed and they don't know what to believe. So it's a crazy time that we live in, but it's an exciting time if you know how to navigate it.
So do you want to know why they're depopulating? I'm going to take the gloves off. It's because of a pole shift. There's a pole shift. Seriously, it's like 15 years away, 15, 20 years. It happens every 12,000 years. So you can kind of see how they'd have to do that. You should look at spaceweathernews.com. My friend Ben Davidson, he talks about he's got a movie out right now. So
quick question. So
go ahead.
The last time we said the pole shift like 12,000 years ago, that was the end of the Ice Age.
The dinosaurs?
No. Around like the Ice Age, which caused the flood around 12,000 years ago. If that were to happen again, would they have to purposefully depopulate the population, or would just natural causes do that?
It would be less of a mess with less people to clean up.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Basically, less mess.
Hey, listen, what happens is there's an energy wave that comes through, and the North Pole goes to the equator. So Alberta will be warmer, but the ice will melt and it'll be chaotic. You know, but it's every 12,000 years. So
if you have 8 billion people going chaos, that's worse than having only 500 million.
Okay.
They say three
That's
floods.
the idea.
3 floods ago was Noah's flood.
Noah's Ark.
36,000 years. 3 floods. So it's like clockwork. I think it was 1974. All the countries got together in Japan, and they all agreed to depopulate. So then it started being a pharmaceutical play, and all the people that made money off those jabs. What Trump called it, warp speed. Anyway, world events are interesting. I'm sure the Freemasons are partly, behind the fact that the construction's slowing down. I don't know if it'll speed up again, but we're gonna try and keep you busy, Brian, as the summer comes around. And I'm glad to see you.
It's been a tough year. It's been a tough year, but we just keep going one day at a time. Here's the thing. I want it for everybody. When your life is going tough and you think, "Hey, I'm having a rough life," you know what I mean? Just remember, it could be a lot worse. Like I seen a guy the other day in a wheelchair, and he's stuck to that wheelchair. You know what I mean? And I look at him and I'm like, you know what? I be thankful for what I have. I have things that other people don't have. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't trade my life, because at the end of the day, this is the experience. This is when you play video games, that's your character. This is the character I got. That's what's up. I can't reset it. I got to just keep going. But it's a heck of a ride. I'm having a good time. Hey, we're doing this podcast. I don't know if we're gonna get canceled after we talked about vaccines and stuff. I think you're gonna have to edit that out or something.
Well, I don't know.
We leave it.
I think we don't have enough time to edit stuff. But for the most part, we're not a big following. Not yet anyway.
Yeah.
My psychic says that if we keep going, it'll eventually become pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea 100%. Would be, if like Matt James may not make it today, but I would say that there's a good chance he got busy on the phone. That's what his message said.
Yeah, 100%.
And he was already not able to do a long Zoom, but in terms of his time, you only had so you're a good plan B, Brian. It's a good thing we invited you, or else
that's what we could have. like I'm driving underneath all the signs that I put up years ago. I don't know if you guys know this, but on the 403, all those overhead signs, I didn't put them up myself, but I put up all these overhead signs with Coco paving, and this was back like early 2000s, and innovation, right? And the way you do things and certain things, and when you innovate properly, you save money, and when you save money, you make money. Correct?
Right.
So as for this innovation, there was another foreman with four men, and they were putting together the middle part because okay, so when we do those overhead signs, first there's a caisson that goes down 30 feet, right? So and then there's a cage, there's concrete poured in there, there's rebar put on top, and with that's formed, concrete's that's the middle wall. You know what I mean? The median that we see between the highway, that part there, we got to form all that. So we were at that stage of the job, and it had 5 guys on it, and it took them 3 days to put the steel, to form it, to pour it. My foreman at the time comes to me and he says, "Wow, they're on day 3 and they're there cutting steel. It looks like it's crazy. Like it's touching the edges. They have to put pieces of plastic or wood in there so that the steel doesn't show. A big mess." And I told my foreman, I said, "Hey, do not go there anymore. Don't look at what they're doing. Don't look anymore." Okay, I was a lead hand, he was a foreman. Don't look anymore. When it's our turn, we're going to look at the plan and we're going to start from beginning and we're going to do it our way. When the plan came, when you look at a plan, it shows the rebar. So if you know which rebar goes first, it'll either show a rebar like this going sideways or it'll show a dot. So that means the rebar's facing this way, or side view, it's going this way, right? So that's the first mistake that they did. They were putting the rebar in the wrong areas. So by doing that, they lost the space that they needed between the form and the concrete and the steel, correct?
They call that cover. Cover.
Yes. So you needed enough cover. So because of that reason, that was one of their first mistakes. So remember I said it took 5 guys 3 days to do it, and it looked like garbage. So then I went with my foreman and just the guy to operate the crane, and 2 guys and the crane guy, so basically 3 guys, took a day and a half to do the same thing that it took 5 guys 3 days to do. Half the men, half the time, because we were prepared, we were focused. You know what I mean? We had not done it before either. We had not done it before, but there's steps and there's rules. So that job became the highest profiting job that Coco had done that year, and that's 3,000 employees. That job made the highest percentage of profit because as soon as we did that, the other 5 men were no longer needed there. They could go do another job somewhere else where they were better suited. So, will I get an award for that? No. Will I get a mention, honorable mention in the wall of Coco? No. They already sold the company, right? They sold the company, but I was a part of that. You know what I mean?
Who bought Coco?
Is that GIP? GIP?
Oh, Green Infrastructure Partners. Yeah, my friend Tobin Jerry. Yeah. Tobin Jerry and Greg.
Yeah, and
they're quite the company.
Oh yeah,
they bought it. They bought everybody.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like if worst comes to worst, I would probably ask them if there's something for me, because if there's any company that has work, would be that company, right?
Yeah, the P3 projects are still going on.
Right. So they but they bought Coco, and that's a whole story in itself as well, you know. So there's a lot of drama in construction.
Yeah.
There is. It's exciting. You know what? You could make a story just on the ups and downs of Canada industry, construction, and innovation, all that stuff. There's so many interesting plots. A lot of interesting plots out there.
I think contractors are responsible for really a lot of the good ideas, the buildable ideas, right? So the
Yeah.
Contractors Innovation Podcast would have the odd engineer on it. But for the most part, Brian, it's worked out pretty good that we got to talk to you about innovation and the project. I find that as a contractor all my life, I've designed, built. I find that if there's a certain amount of QA, just the right amount of QA, and a bit of a pre-job meeting, people actually ask the guys, "Hey, here's
100%.
here's what we're going to do. What do you think are the success factors to it?" And
See, when I was
listen to the men, right? Listen.
Yeah, 100%. When I was younger, the way I was trained was watch and don't ask too many stupid questions and hurry up, and you know what I mean. So it was such a crazy way to learn. Where once it was my turn to teach, I would have the meeting in the beginning, like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We're having a team meeting. Everybody knows what they're going to do. This is your plan of attack. When you're done your job, go to the guy before you or the guy after you and help them do theirs." You know what I mean? Like, help and get it done. But the preparation is huge, and that's where we had one job that we had to break it apart, and there was big thick steel, all twisted now, so that we had to straighten out the steel, and no one could figure out how we're going to straighten the steel, because if it's a smaller rebar, you can just straighten it by hand. You just put like a fence post on top of your rebar, and then with the leverage, you just pull it straight. But this rebar was like this thick. You know what I mean? It was like a 4-inch thickness of a rebar, a 3-inch. It was huge. And so the guys were like, "What are we going to do? How are we going to bend this?" So I stick a fence post on it, and then I say, "Hey, get the guy inside the backhoe and use the arm of the backhoe against the fence post and straighten out the bars." And they were like, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." See, so just by thinking, just taking a step back. And that's the other thing too. I had a foreman and a supervisor. They were both younger than me, but they weren't pigheaded, and they listened to my suggestions. They actually would come to me and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" If they can't figure it out, because they were very smart. I'm not saying they weren't smart, but they were in their 30s, and I was already a little bit older. I was probably early 40s. No, I was probably late 30s too. But anyways, the point is that working as a team, we were able to figure out different things and become the highest profit job that year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, and that's a job that no one in the company had ever done before, and it's an accomplishment. And I'll always go back to that story just to prove how much team innovation, working together, listening, all those things, teamwork, all those things are so important if you want to succeed in this industry. 100%.
Brian, what's the situation with 183 anyway? You're still in 183?
Yeah, so I have 183 union, and there's everyone's on 183. Now, I put myself on the list maybe a month after I got laid off. And but no, actually, a couple weeks after I got laid off. And when I put my name on the list in Toronto, I was number 401 on the list, which means there's 400 other people that are laid off there, right? Now, I think there's 50,000 members. So if there's only 400 people laid off, that's not bad.
Yeah, a lot of jobs are ongoing.
Yeah.
Less new starts. And then the 506 is the same number. Like 506 is ICI, right? The 183
Yeah, I
is the
believe
heavy
that
civil.
is that not a Hamilton? It's all the same union or whatever, but isn't that a Hamilton union? I'm not sure.
No, I think it's just ICI. I mean,
It's an ICI thing.
You get in Toronto, you get a lot of ICI. Like the P3 projects would be 183. But
Yeah.
Can you explain what the P3 projects are?
P3 is build, own, operate. So they went with program on the subways. They only had 2 bidders, and they said to these 2 bidders, we want you to finance it, build it, and operate it for so many years. So it's P3 is generally build, own, operate. And that was how they thought they could benefit. Now, I think what happened was, the truth is that the specifications were difficult, and they had only 2 engineers building it, and an engineer on each team. So you have these international engineers that come in, and they charge a certain percentage of hard cost. Like they would charge 8% of hard cost. So they get huge fees. There's no incentive to design it lean. Understand? Because the percentage of the hard cost of the rebar and the concrete. So it's been a bit of a disappointment. I know the first job was Eglinton, and EllisDon bid it too low, and they had a lot of trouble with trying to fulfill that. I think they left $1 billion on the table, which is a lot of money, right? So if they bid
too low, do they like constrain themselves to like their budget is so low that they can't do the project?
No, they have to do it because they put their bond up, right? So in other words, they have to grab partners, do whatever they can. I don't think EllisDon was never the same after that. The guy on they do construction management today. They don't have the ability to do the big bonds, but their name is so good. They have so many employees that they're still hired for construction management, which isn't a bad way to go. And the way construction management process works, you might charge 5% of the cost. So every change that comes in, they'll do whatever you want. Just give us 5% of it. Right? 5% is not an unusual markup for a GC, and then some jobs maybe they'll get higher. So, but the second bidder on Eglinton East was Canadian, and the chief estimator at Canadian was a fellow named Steve Fogarossi. Now he's passed away, but I talked to Steve at the time. He said, "Oh, there's no way they're going to be able to do it for that price." But what happened is they had an estimator in, he can remain nameless, but and they brought back all these old timers from their civil program at the Dome. I actually did the Dome at EllisDon. And when I was at Deep Foundations years ago. So the estimator bid the job as if his men were doing the work. So instead of taking a sub price, they just said, well, it should be this much labor to build this, and that's why they're so low. It's kind of a surprising mistake to make. But you only got 2 bidders, and in the end it got built. But it changed EllisDon and hurt a lot of shareholders, people I know that had shares in EllisDon. They that didn't go well for them. Brian, are you still there? Is Brian still there?
I think Brian's still there. He had to mute. He might be doing something on his end, but I'm pretty sure he can still hear us.
Probably got another call, eh? He's pretty good. I think we should try to send an invite to him every time.
Sure.
Just because the energy's good, and he's always adds a bit of comedy.
And his story was really good about the signs in the 403 and about doing the job right the first time rather than wasting so much time trying to figure it out.
What happened at Highway 8 with all the snow? The overhead, how there's at Sports World, there's kind of a flyover that you go up and over, get on to 86. You familiar with it at all? In Kitchener, Waterloo. Anyway,
no, I haven't been out there.
They had one car.
Yeah.
In that blinding snow, I guess, launch right over the barrier because they hadn't cleaned enough snow, and it flipped over and killed the girl. Then they had another car.
Yeah.
follow that car. And that car, I think
This was
the person did
because of the
die.
snow recently?
Yeah, just like literally, Kate,
Wow.
my girlfriend, was telling me this.
Wow.
She was saying that you wouldn't believe the snow down here, like in Godridge. Of course,
Lots.
there's Brian. Brian, I was just telling Dante that there was somebody who went over the flyover at Sports World, and
Yeah.
and you heard that, eh? They got killed.
Yeah, I seen it. I seen it. 2 cars, not 1, 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the snow was built up, and so they ramped right off it. Like, how stupid are you? So
They ramped off the snow like it was some sort of
yeah. So you know
storm.
how in Kitchener's got that big ramp that when you go into King Street, right? That big ramp over top to go to like Waterloo and stuff. When you want to go to Waterloo or Stratford, there's those big right. So when he was going around that, the snow was built up on the one side, but I mean he still had a lane to drive, but instead of driving more in, you know what I mean?
Drove on the outside.
And so yeah, and so he went right up. He went right up and over the cliff, the snow.
Was it a young guy? Young guy?
I don't know. I think it was a bunch of people in a car too. I think it's safe to say they were brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
How he usually does Uber driver was not driving. That's the problem.
So
the good driver was not driving.
Another question. It was that kind of an engineering problem because they didn't manage the snow properly, or was that like a city problem? Like
that is
a maintenance problem. They'll get sued over it for sure. But you can imagine
they probably will because of that. Because you have to be able to hit that wall and not go over. That's the proper. Okay. That's why those walls are built.
Yeah,
right. So that's why you have big high walls, or else basically, and it wouldn't have jumped over the guardrail if that snow wasn't there. So even though it is driver error, at the end of the day, it's driver error. But at the end of the day, if you have a good lawyer, they should have removed the snow.
Yeah,
they should have had a dump truck. They should have had dump trucks. The snow you know what I mean? The snow blower that eats it and throws it right into the truck, and you have to remove it. You can't. You know what I mean?
There.
I think those ramps and stuff should have they should have a better gutter system. They should have a gutter system. I think it should be heated. You know what I mean? Like something that melts the snow. Our roads should almost be heated a certain way. You know, I'm sure there's a way to do it, or to have like a rain gutter right down the middle that all the snow could go to and start melting right away. You know what I mean?
I think they do have a drain board, like a metal drain.
But they don't have enough. They don't have enough, like on our highways. Like I notice when there's lots of snow, lots of rain, or whatever, it's hard to get rid of the snow and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's too much.
Also, wouldn't it be super expensive to like have the whole highway heated? Because like they're building like the 413 highway.
There's a labor creating work.
But what about having like what about just having like a nice a grade on both sides? On both sides of
a grade?
The middle that's big and
oh, you cut out there, Brian. Did he say a grate? Like
I think there is a grate. Like there is like almost like a metal grate with a trough, but it'd be full of ice, right? Like it would be plugged, and
yes,
it's pretty hard when
it stays warm. If it's low enough, it stays warm.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean? Like you know what else is going on, Brian? The salt mine is out of salt. So the Godridge.
That's another thing. That's another thing.
So you end up.
That's another thing. The salt mine is. You know how much salt there is? You know how much salt there is in the world? They just want to make more money. That's the problem. There's so.
Well, if they're out though, that doesn't help.
How are they out of salt?
Well, I heard that
it all.
They got in trouble with. The real story is they're part of a group called Compass Minerals. There are 100 mines, and it's the biggest salt mine in the world.
Correct. They have lots of salt.
Yeah. Well, they're putting sand down around here. There's nobody putting salt down because
Yes.
So many people are screaming, look at the winter we're having. This
Well,
is a record winter, and it's because of that bullshit.
And there's no salt to go around. Oh my goodness, just sand.
Well, and that's
unfortunate. Just a heads up, we do have 5.5 minutes left on this.
Okay, hopefully we'll get Brian back for a joke or two.
Yeah.
But he's frozen up. I guess it's the weather, that makes him freeze up like that. Do you think?
What I did drugs too long for two, and now everybody else is high. Now I'm sober, and everybody else is high. Like, what's going on in this world?
You know,
what's happening?
No drugs and no alcohol, Brian. Don't even drink. You know, you're better off.
Yeah, you know,
you're better off not.
Oh my God! Yeah, but now I can see. Now I see everything that's going on, and now it's like, oh, I want to start drinking again.
You know what I mean? Too much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, now it's too much. Like, I was like, oh no, and it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing, this world. But
you know who called me today? A guy named Norm Como. Have you ever heard of him? I worked with him in the early '80s, and he has a company called Shorties. He's 80. He's 87, still working, but he was my mentor.
Wow!
Like when I first started at Deep, I ended up getting his job when he quit. But
yeah,
that's how I got all that experience early. I was lucky, built the Skydome with EllisDon and people like that. But
yeah,
you know, contracting is all about risk. And Brian, it's been really good having you. You're invited every week, so send him every week, okay?
Yep,
we're going to get that laugh in there. And
yeah.
Brian, you know, why don't you mention it when you're say, hey, I'm a co-host of a podcast, and then
I could turn my fans on to this podcast. Why not?
Yeah. Say the Contractors Innovation Podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a fun podcast. I always learn something new every time I get on this. And I think the purpose of it is kind of like to be the link between the informative brain of.
Oh, yeah, it must be very cold out there, Brian. You're literally frozen.
I don't know why that is. Maybe it's weather. Eh?
It could be weather. It could just be his location.
Yeah, it's literally.
No,
you're in and out a bit, Brian. Is that because of the weather? I think we'll have to get you at home. Do you have a home computer?
Oh yeah, he's frozen.
What's the time on this thing now?
We got 3 minutes left.
Dante, when you come on, you know, I lost my phone, so I've been going through shit with the phone. I lost my contacts. But I got a new phone, obviously, but I lost it in a snowstorm. It was like a whiteout, and when I left the car to fix the wipers,
it fell out, and then
you dropped it, and then you forgot about it, and that's it, and you drove away.
Feels so stupid, but you know, it's. I was kind of happy because my iPad today, I was playing with my iPad, and all the pictures are still there, but I can't get the pictures back. But it's really,
in the cloud. It's in the cloud.
Yeah, in the contacts.
Okay.
If I've emailed people, I can get that. You know, send them an email from this desktop and say, "Hey, you know, give me my give me your coordinates." Right? Maybe it's a blessing. You know, I had too many contacts. It was too much.
Now you know who really likes you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we have like about 2 minutes left, Martin.
Okay, so I think Brian froze up again. Well, I just want to say thanks, Brian, for being the main guest when you were supposed to be the sideline guest. But our podcast is every week, 2:00. Please like and subscribe. You're going to learn something, even if it's about the guy going over at Highway 8. So, you know, maybe we should make it Contractors Innovation and a bit of news podcast.
Yeah, it could be.
That's a good idea because
not bad. And just as a disclaimer, I don't know if the driver was brown. I was just making an off-color joke. I usually make jokes about colored people. This one was off-color. So have
yeah, no, it's
yeah.
I hope everything works out because you hate to see people get hurt.
Well,
Yeah,
two
but,
people did die. So, I mean, unfortunately, I'm sorry for the families of those two people. Two people did pass away on that car accident. You're probably right. There's probably going to be some kind of lawsuit or something. At the end of the day, everybody, you can't get a restart. You can't get a
yeah,
restart. So don't risk it because this is real life out here. I drive a lot. I drive a lot. Cambridge, Toronto, Stratford, wherever I drive. And um I see a lot of accidents. I see a lot of craziness. You know, get your winter tires if you're gonna drive around, and if you don't have winter tires, don't fucking drive. Like, stay away. Like, or drive somewhere else, like away from me, because it's very dangerous out there. So those people that happened to, it was driver error, yes, but also the snow should have been cleaned out. So unfortunately, two people died. Just be careful. At the end of
we
the
have
day, it
like
doesn't
about 30
matter.
seconds
They're already
left.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dante, can you do other times during the week, or how's your schedule? You've been able to make this one free, eh?
Yeah,
Like
so
you
this time works, and if you need other times, let me know, and I'll make sure to check my email. But for now, we're locked in on Fridays.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
All right.
Brian, Friday at 2.
All right.
All right. Thanks a
Anyway,
lot.
God bless everybody. Thanks.
Baby, I need to know